Let's get it sparked in here. Hey, it's your girl Olivia Odileke. Welcome to the 10-minute live spark. And we have some more great things to spark today. I I just this brain times, but there's so much work to be done because there's many of us who are just not doing the work. I'm serious. And you probably know quite a few of them. You could count them on your hand. I'm doing something a little different today because I have something I'm excited to share. Something that started as an ebook that I was initially going to just create and send out as an ebook. I decided to make it a Kindle book, and hopefully, in about a week or so, the print version will be ready. It's the Kindle version of my new book called The Three Beliefs Every Teacher Needs to Spark Curiosity, and it's officially out, and it's only 99 cents. It's about a 38-page read. I made it real short and simple. I want to spend just a few minutes talking about why I wrote it, because we talk a lot in education about strategies and this evidence based research practice. But what's the strategy for engagement? What's the strategy for questioning? What's the strategy for getting kids to think? But I kept coming back to something that actually happens before the strategy. Before we start doing the strategy, it's our beliefs. It's our beliefs. Do we believe in the strategy? Do we think our kids can learn from the strategy? Do we think we're ready to teach that strategy? Because what I believe about students shapes what I do. Because it really comes down to our belief system. And we talk about this all the time, how you can have the same two people and one person believes something, one person doesn't believe something. And you just be amazed at how much they can accomplish just because they have the belief. So we don't have to go to long certifications. We don't have to go to long workshops to start thinking about what are our beliefs, and what I do shapes how my classroom feels. How the classroom feels shapes how students engage. You ever been to a classroom and you just want to run up out of there because you could just feel it killing you, killing your curiosity? And how students engage shapes how curiosity and curious they learn. So before curiosity becomes a student experience, it begins as a mindset. I talk about this a lot because I mean, when we look at us and we put us all together, teachers at a school, we all look the same on the outside. The only thing that's the difference is what we believe on the inside. And that's what this little book is really about. It's about three beliefs. And I want to kind of touch on each of the beliefs and open it up for comments. So belief one, and it also I made the beliefs like affirmation. So when you say them, like put your hand on your heart, feel the vibration so it can go deeper inside of you. I create the conditions for curiosity. I do that. The teacher, I create the conditions for curiosity. The first belief is I create the conditions for curiosity. Notice I didn't say I make my students curious. No, we can't make somebody curious. We can only create the conditions that allows them to unlock that curiosity. But we can create it where the conditions where curiosity is most likely to grow. Just like, and in my book I compare it to hosting a dinner party. I want you to think about it, and I used to host these a lot before COVID. You can choose the music, you can prepare the food, you can arrange the chairs, you can create an environment where people feel welcome and they want to stay and they want to talk. I used to even have like question bags to help people like talk to each other, just to first build community before we ever got into any activity. But you can't force that great conversation to happen. I had Spark Curiosity Conference. I didn't force any of those conversations, but I created the conditions for the spark. You prepare for it. Teaching is a lot like that. And this is where I think there's an important shift for us to make. Instead of only asking, how can or how am I going to deliver this content? So instead of asking that question, how am I going to deliver this content? Because basically that's like a lecture question. What if we also ask, what conditions am I creating that make students want to engage with this content? What conditions am I creating so that they want to do what I want to deliver to them? That's a real big difference. That's a real big, and that is where there's research behind this. Amy Edelman's work on psychological safety tells us that people are more willing to take interpersonal risks when they believe it's safe to do so. They think about what curiosity requires from a student. What does it really require? I don't know. I have a question. I think this might be the answer. What if I'm wrong? Those are risks. So, if I'm going to ask students to be curious, I have to think about whether I've created a classroom where it's actually safe to be curious. Curiosity cannot be forced, but it can be invited. It can be invited. So let's talk about belief number 2. I see potential before performance. That's the deep one. I see potential before performance. And in the book, I use the image of a jeweler looking at a rough diamond. To somebody else, it might just look like a rock. But the jeweler has trained their eye to see something that hasn't been revealed yet. That's how I want us to think about students. Let's look at them and see something that hasn't been revealed yet. Because performance tells us what a student can demonstrate right now. Potential asks me, what might be here that I haven't seen yet? What else can they do academically? How can they outperform their previous self? And this one really matters because research on teacher expectations has been telling us for decades. They did that experiment with the Pegmalon research shows us that what teachers believe about students can actually influence students' outcomes. They did this in like 1968. And it doesn't necessarily happen through some huge instructional decision. It happens in those tiny interactions, the conditions, right? Who do I call on? How long do I wait when a student is struggling? What kind of question do I ask the student? What do I do when the answer is wrong? That's a big one. I probably need to dedicate a whole session on that because many of us freeze up when our students get answers wrong versus looking at it as $1 million opportunity to magnify the learning, to get curious about their thinking. How did they get there? To give other students an opportunity to interact and add on to the discussion. Because that's what it's about in our lives. Aren't we not, as humans, sometimes as adults, getting things wrong? But do we just give up? Or this is when we actually reevaluate, rethink, and try to come up with a different strategy. So, do I say it, which 90% of classes are saying, or do I say, tell me more about your thinking? Tell me more, because that's the only way we're going to uncover what they really think. What are the neural connections really telling this student? And that's a very small shift. Remember, I see potential before performance, but think about the belief underneath it. I'm saying there's something in your thinking worth hearing. That's what I'm saying. There's something in your thinking worth hearing. That's potential before performance. I hope this is resonating with you. This is my passion right here. I love looking for the potential, not just in students, but in everyone that comes in my circle. You know, it's really, I think it's a gift to be able to see students who may look like they're struggling or they can't learn because sometimes we just haven't seen what they can do. We're so focused on what they can't do. What can they do? Especially when we spark their curiosity. So, and there's one line from the book I really want educators to sit with. And this one line is, you cannot reveal what you have already decided isn't there. Let me say that one more time. You cannot reveal what you have already decided is not there. So if you decide that person can't do that, nothing is going to be revealed. You've already made it law. Think about that, especially when you think about the student who challenges you the most, already decided is or isn't there. And that's belief. We getting back to that belief, right? Okay, belief 3, I'm a leader too. And then there is this idea of I'm a learner too. I'm here to learn too. This one may be my favorite because we spend so much time thinking about whether our students are curious. But here's a harder question. Are we? When's the last time you were curious about something that, you dove into something, you wanted to go search for the information? When was the last time your students heard you say, I don't know? That's interesting. I never thought about that before. I wonder why that happened. Because we cannot ask students to have a relationship with learning that they never see modeled. They have to see us have this energy and this thrive to know more and to grow. That's why we have PLCs. They're supposed to be designed to help us grow. And there's research around emotional cognition that shows teacher emotions matter. Students really pick up our genuine enthusiasm and enjoyment. So curiosity isn't only something we teach, it's something students can actually witness. And if I want students to be comfortable not knowing, they need to see me not knowing. I need to show them, hey man, I don't know. I'm gonna show you what I do when I don't know something. And if I want them to take intellectual risks, they need to see me take intellectual risks. And if I want them to wonder, they need to see that I'm still wondering too. I wonder, what if? Let's see, reimagine this. Being the teacher doesn't mean I've arrived. I'm still growing, I'm still questioning, and I am still discovering. I'm a learner too. I'm a learner too. So let's put it all together. So these are the three beliefs. Again, say them as affirmations. Put your hand on your heart. Feel the vibration. I create the conditions for curiosity. I create the conditions for curiosity. I see potential before performance. And I am a learner too. Those three beliefs, I tell you, every teacher needs those three beliefs in order to spark curiosity. And none of those require a new curriculum. They don't require another program. They don't require you to completely redesign tomorrow's lesson. They ask you to examine something much closer to home. How am I showing up? Because every time we walk into a classroom, we're bringing more than a lesson plan. Atmosphere. We bring expectations and assumptions. We're bringing our own relationships with learning. That's a lot. That's a lot of baggage we're bringing in there, and our students experience all of it. They experience all of it. So that's why I wrote this book, not to give teachers another checklist of things to implement, but to give us a reason to stop and examine the thinking underneath what we're already doing. What are our beliefs? What are we thinking when we do these things? So here's the spark I want to leave you with today. Don't try to work on all three, okay? Just ask yourself, which belief do I need the most right now? Do I need to be more intentional about the conditions I'm creating? Do I need to look beyond the student's current performance and see their potential? I know school is starting. Let's just put it out there. I see potential. I see the 10 in every kid. Or do I need to let my students see that I'm still a learner too? So the goal is to pick one because sometimes meaningful instructional change doesn't begin by adding something new. Sometimes it begins by seeing differently. I see you differently. Three Beliefs Every Teacher Needs to Spark Curiosity is now available on Kindle. And if these ideas spark something in you, I hope you'll check it out. It's just 99 cents. And now I'm going to leave you the way we always do with a little inspiration from Fearless Educator Radio. So keep learning, keep wondering, and let's keep sparking curiosity. And I'm going to play the song I Want an Experience because I think a lot of students are just looking for an experience, and your belief system can help shape that.
Teacher, my mind's been waiting, waiting for something for something real. Don't just teach me, let me feel it. Show me the reason, show me the why. I wanna feel alive. Ooh, can you feel it? It's calling me, it's pulling me deep inside. I want an experience, I want an experience. Can you feel it? I can really, really feel it. Don't just teach me, let me feel it. Oh, I want an experience, I can feel it all over. The frequency taking over me, spark my mind, light my fire. I want an experience, open my eyes, open my heart. Every question, a brand new start. Learning feels different.